Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. It is March 27th and today I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about this weekend's severe weather threat because we do have another 2 days severe weather event, and this one could be not as significant as the high risk we had Thursday, but this is nothing to mess around with. So we're going to be talking about that, and we're going to be looking at when we could maybe see severe weather next week. And just no, next week does look a lot more quiet than the past 2 weeks. So that's good, but we could still have some severe weather, and we're going to talk about that. But let's go ahead and get started. So today we do have an enhanced risk for areas of Arkansas, northern Louisiana, actually kind of running the Louisiana-Arkansas border, northern Mississippi, northern Alabama, and Tennessee, areas of western and central Tennessee. Pretty not really large marginal risk, but we do have a 10 sig tornado risk, and that's from Arkansas and the Tennessee. 30% wind threat, and that is hatched, which means we could see some significant, or which, well, let's just say what the SPC thinks, or what the SPC has, or what the hatched area means according to the SPC. Sorry, I can't talk, but we the hatched area, which is pretty much these in this black circle right here, in the 30%. That means a 10% or greater probability of wind gusts 65 knots or greater within 25 miles of a point. So that's kind of some significant winds. That's like 70 miles per hour or greater, 10% or greater probability within 25 miles of a point. A normal 30% would just be a 30% chance of wind gusts of 50 knots or higher within 25 miles of a point. That's only 50 knots. So pretty much what the hatched area means is just more significant wind, or if it's the hail threat, which we do have today, a hatched area. That just means SPC is expecting maybe some hail to reach 2 inches in diameter or larger, so it's kind of significant. And we do have a hatched tornado threat today also. Now we go to tomorrow. We have a slight risk. It goes from North Georgia, northeastern Alabama into Delaware, and even almost a little bit of southern New Jersey is almost in that. We have the marginal risk that goes from Mississippi into central New Jersey and southern PA. We have a 15 hatched wind threat and a 5% hail. Hail is not really going to be a big deal tomorrow. The storm moon's going to be linear, some supercells. We don't have a giant hail. We don't have a large hail threat tomorrow. Tomorrow's going to mainly be damaging winds and tornadoes, where we have this 5% and maybe some isolated ones in the 2%. That's kind of what we have for tomorrow. And then day 3, we can see it's much more calm. We just have a general thunderstorm in the southeast. So let's go ahead and start here. So we're gonna look at today and tomorrow with the models, and we're gonna just take some soundings first off. So we're looking at composite reflectivity right now. We're gonna take some soundings. So let's go from north to south. So something that I noticed is up here in Iowa, the HRRR is depicting maybe some storms. Which there is. I don't think there's a risk up there. No, there's no risk up there. We took a sounding though. Now, yeah, this is not good to say the least. 41 degree dew point. You're not gonna get a whole lot of that, and the shear is terrible. So I'm not really expecting much out of that. And then let's go back down into Illinois though, because this is where we're gonna see some severe weather in Illinois today also, which is pretty far north for this time of year. But we are getting closer to severe weather season in the Midwest. We can see a sounding in southern and central Illinois. We have a 59 degree dew point. Instability is marginal, and shear is there. It's that would support. That's not really that good of shear. Take one in central Illinois here. Let's take one in kind of central and east central Illinois. This might be contaminated. No, it's very capped though, or not very, but it's a little capped. We do have marginal instability once again. Shear exists. It's not looking too good for shear though. But we go down to the south, to the southern area of our risk, where the HRRR depicts many supercells tracking. We take some soundings. Let's take one kind of right around to the east of Memphis. Now this is not extremely impressive, but what is impressive with this is the instability. Just look at this, and we have cape of around, or surface cape of around 4,000, 4,200. ML of around 3,000, and shear is there. Not the best shear I've ever seen, and the Hodo is not the best Hodo I've ever seen. It's not really good either. But that's definitely maybe 5% to 10 sig worthy, I guess. And take splitting is sounding in northwestern Alabama. Now this is interesting. We have a little bit less instability, but we still have plenty of instability. Shear is existing. It is there. It's not perfect shear, and the Hodo looks decent for the first part. And this is a PDS Taurus sounding, but don't really look at that. So yeah, that's that sounding. Now let's take one in eastern Texas where we could have a bigger hail or a large hail threat. And we have decent lapse rates with this. Not impressive at all. Not like extremely impressive, but we do have some lapse rates. We do have shear, so I would expect maybe an isolated tornado threat in eastern Texas. And first part of the Hodo looks decent also. So I would expect maybe a 2% to a 5% in that area, and that's what the SPC kind of has. So yeah, now take some soundings in Arkansas. We're gonna take them before the storms initiate, so we don't get any contaminated soundings. Now this is once again very impressive, especially with the instability. Now the tornado threat with this is going to be lower, due to the fact that the shear, we don't have very much directional shear. This would be maybe 2 to 5%. That's kind of what I'm thinking with this sounding. This doesn't look too impressive for tornadoes. But this could still have a tornado threat with it if that's sounding. We can take a sounding once again. We can take it in kind of central Mississippi, and still once again we have really good instability, but shear is just not really good in that area. Now let's actually zoom in on this area and try and get some better sounding. So let's take one in front of this convection in Illinois. Now this is not very impressive. This is a very cap sounding. This is contaminated though, so let's get a different one. Let's take one further to the southeast. All right, here we go. This is capped, very, very capped at the surface. Actually, we have negative 422 CIN, which that's pretty significant. We have very limited CAPE, or we don't have much instability with this at all. And shear is okay, I guess. It's not extremely... I don't think that's going to carry much of a tornado threat with it. I think maybe the tornado threat's likely going to be limited to central Illinois and damaging wind threat with maybe a few isolated tornadoes or an isolated tornado or two in southern Illinois, but that shear is just not great. Let's take a sounding once the convection gets closer to this area, see if we get a little more instability. Once again, no, we don't have a lot of instability. Shear is slightly better, though, but still not liking the looks of that. And now keep in mind, this is just one model. So we can look at the NAM3 real quick and take some soundings with it. And I'm sure it's very different. Yeah, it shows... Yeah, the NAM3 looks to be different, so let's take some soundings with it. Now this is... The shear on this just isn't perfect, but it is there. You could get an isolated tornado out of this, and it's also slightly capped. But you do have instability also, so that's good. Take a sounding further to the north, kind of by the Bloomington, Illinois area. And this is capped. We do have some kind of decent shear, though. But still, this is not that great of a sounding. We do have a critical angle of 82, and kind of an okay Hodo. That would support maybe a better tornado threat. And also, just a note here, the NAM3 shows more convection further to the south. The HRRR showed it kind of over the Memphis and central Arkansas area. The NAM3 kind of shows it further to the south in northwestern Mississippi in that area. So let's go ahead and move on to Sunday. And for Sunday, we're going to use the HRRR again. And first off, we're going to start with the Mid-Atlantic, sorry. Now we're going to move to the southeast, because we do have a slight risk Sunday. And it's going to be with the same storm system. What we can see. So this is getting into Sunday morning. We have kind of a dying line come in. And later in the day, we have maybe another line form on the cold front, and maybe some isolated supercells. Let's take some soundings with this. This is not terrible. We have decent instability. Not very capped. And the Hodo looks decent. That's not a terrible sounding for tornadoes at all. We can even take some soundings in New Jersey. And we have instability, marginal instability. This would bring a tornado threat, actually. We have a curved HOTO and an enlarged HOTO also. And plenty of moisture, or not plenty of instability. Instability could be a little limited. We do have marginal instability. But we could maybe see a tornado threat. It is slightly capped, which could be a problem. But I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a tornado maybe even in New Jersey, in that area. So, yeah, that's that. And go back earlier in the day and take some soundings with the first line. Take some soundings in Alabama. This would be mainly a limited, or not, sorry, this would mainly be a linear storm mode. We have decent instability, pretty marginal, once again, though. HOTO doesn't look too good. We do have a little bit of shear, though. This would maybe support some kind of weaker tornado. But I'm not expecting anything long track out of that. And plus, storm mode looks mainly linear. And the soundings, if that sounding actually happened, these are forecast soundings, if an observed sounding looked like that, that would most likely favor a linear storm mode. Now, I can take some soundings in Georgia. Let's just take one right here. A little bit better. We have a little bit more instability. Shear exists. It's just not too good. And HOTO looks marginal. But overall, not that great of a sounding. I'd say the best area for severe weather right now is looking kind of like this area, like north central North Carolina into Virginia, maybe even Delaware, southern Delaware. So definitely looking pretty good for Sunday as well. But yeah, so now let's go ahead and look at the long term. Or not really the long term. Let's go ahead and look at what's going to happen next week. So you can see this is our storm system that's going to be bringing a lot of snow to maybe areas in northern Maine. And severe weather on Saturday and Sunday. That moves off. That'll leave the country by around Monday. Maybe a little bit of some snow maybe left in the northeast. And Tuesday and Monday is going to be a very windy day across the plains. We have a 981 millibar low in northern Minnesota. And then, that doesn't really do too much. But then around Wednesday, we have another. We have a surface low maybe form around the southeast. And that kind of tracks up to the northeast. And we have a little bit of cold air behind the cold front. We have a little bit of lingering moisture. We have a little bit of snow maybe for areas in New York, PA, West Virginia, and areas of like eastern Kentucky, maybe areas of extreme eastern Tennessee and the higher elevations in western North Carolina. It's kind of uncertain. But we could see maybe a little bit of snow on the backside of this, maybe March 31st and April 1st in the northeast areas like Boston, Portland, Maine, and maybe New York City. We'll have to see if we can get enough cold air in. And then Thursday, we're going to have much below average temperatures across the east. Now, with this front, I'm not expecting really a large chance of some severe weather. Let me move this out of the way, sorry. We can go here, let's go to surface-based Cape. Just to see how much instability we have now. Once we get short-range models to actually show this event, there'll be a better understanding of what's actually going to happen, but it does look like maybe Thursday. Or this is Wednesday, sorry. We have a little bit of instability across the southeast. And then Thursday, as that front pushes through, it's mainly limited to Florida. But maybe Wednesday we could see some severe weather. But next week looks a lot more calm compared to the past 2 weeks. So that is a good thing. But yeah, that'll wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I will be back tomorrow. But I hope you guys have a good Saturday.